pleased to yield 5 minutes to Mr. Cardoza of California.
I'd like to thank my friend, the chairwoman of this committee, and thank her for the great job that she does. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for your continued outstanding service to our country.
Thank you.
I'm a huge fan, and because of that, I'm going to actually allow you to answer the questions that I ask. Madam Secretary, at least 70 people were killed during an attack last October on Our Lady of Salvation Church in Baghdad, making it the worst massacre of Iraqi Christians since 2003. Less than 2 months later, extremists bombed the homes of more than a dozen Christian families in Baghdad as well. And on New Year's Eve, 23 people were killed by a suicide bomber in Alexandria, Egypt, while coming out of Mass at St. Mark's and St. Peter's Coptic Church. Since these tragic incidents in the Middle East Middle East has been rocked by wide-ranging democratic protests and regime changes, as we've seen in the last few weeks. How has this ongoing instability affected the already heightened risk to vulnerable religious minority groups like Assyrians, Jews, Copts, and others?
Congressman, thank you for asking that question. I think this has not gotten the level of attention and concern that it should. We immediately went into action when the bombings took place in Baghdad. Our ambassador was deeply involved with the government, making sure that there was protection and security. The ambassador went to Mass in order to show solidarity with Iraqi Christians. But there's no doubt that Christians and other minority groups are feeling under pressure and are leaving countries from North Africa to South Asia because they don't feel protected. I think we need to do much more to stand up for the rights of religious minorities. And obviously, I'm deeply concerned about what happened to the Christians in Iraq and the Christians in Egypt. I'm also concerned about what happens to minority Muslim groups in Pakistan and elsewhere. So you have raised an issue that I think is one of deep concern, and we have to be speaking out more, and we have to hold governments accountable. When I spoke with the prior Egyptian government after the Alexandria bombing, they expressed the same level of outrage that I felt. They said that, the Copts are, part of Egyptian history. As you recall from Tahrir Square, there was a lot of interfaith efforts with Copts and Muslims together, worshiping together. Let's hope that continues, and let's do whatever we can to make that the future instead of what I am fearful of, which is driving out religious minorities. And the final thing I would say on that, because it's an issue I've paid a lot of attention to, we want to protect religion and religious believers, but we don't want to use some of the tools that other countries are proposing, which is to criminalize defamation, criminalize in the broadest possible definition blasphemy, and then use it to execute, harass, and otherwise oppress religious minorities. So we have to come up with an international consensus about what we're going to do to protect those who are exercising their conscience.
Thank you very much. My second question deals with the events, again, that have highlighted the unique role Israel plays in the Middle East as a reliable, stable, and democratic ally that shares our values and interests. Likewise, there is no question that the tumult throughout the region, and especially in Egypt, raises strategic questions for Israel. My question is this: is the administration in close contact with the government of Israel about the impact of recent events on Israel's QME and possible new threats it faces? And in light of the current uncertainty, is the administration reconsidering the massive sales of advanced weaponry in the region, some of which were already notified, in order to protect the qualitative military advantage?
Congressman, first let me say we are in constant, probably daily contact with our counterparts in the Israeli government at all levels of our government. Secondly, the qualitative military edge is absolutely a commitment that this administration has followed up on. And Secretary Gates has said publicly and privately on numerous occasions that in the last 2 years we have probably done more to enhance Israel's defense than at any previous period. This administration has delivered for Israel. It's not maybe as well known because it's both public and classified, but I want to make sure that members of this committee know that this administration, time and again, has made sure that Israel has what it needs to protect itself. And of course, we discuss with Israel other actions that we take in the region, and I think right now we're all in agreement about what we need to be doing.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cardoza. Madam Secretary.